Blessed love and give thanks and praise to the Most High Goddess and the Most High God, Haile Selassie I, the ever-living Goddess, the ever-living God, the ever-faithful Goddess, the ever-faithful God, the ever-sure Goddess, and the ever-sure God, Haile Selassie I, is the Almighty. Haile Selassie I, that seated in Ethiopia and reign in the hearts of all flesh, O the Most High, Eternal Mother and Father, Haile Selassie I. Here I and I, Joshua, Christ bless I, keep I, and sanctify I. Cause thine holy face to shine upon I and I, children and grandchildren, I vines and I fig tree, I generation, I loved ones and I dwelling places. Save and redeem us all from all harmful plot, false association and untimely deaths. Sodom and Gomorrah, molestations and captivity, deceitful tongues and framework. Propaganda, scorn and shame and blame and gnashing of teeth, smacking and jeering. Iniquities and plagues and sores of sickness of long continuance and even longer continuance, O the Most High Goddess, O the Most High God, Haile Selassie I. Glory be to Jah Prince Emmanuel Charles Edwards and the Gentile nation of Ethiopia at this hour. And we want to bless all those who are trying to be righteous. Because the way to righteousness is like the way to riches. Now the way to riches is, it is easier to get the money, but it is harder to keep it. So the woman and the man that is on the way to righteousness at this time, I want to tell you that you are already righteous. You are just struggling to remain that way. Why? Your surrounding has been the surrounding that you have been laying in almost all your life. And when I say your surrounding you have been laying, it means that you have been laying there dead. Because most people don't understand that the people that they know are quicksand. Alright? Quicksand mean once you're in that circle, you cannot go anywhere. But you're still in the circle. So if you're living the same life that you're living today, and you can place that life to the life that you were living 5-10 years ago with also the same people, it means that you have not moved from where you were. You have not blossomed, you have not bear a fruit, nothing. And most people think that bearing a fruit, being a human being and a person, mean that you have to have a child. No, there's nothing changed about you, mean that you have not even grown mustache, in a sense, or in a figure of speech, based on what the people of this world is taught to understand. Because everything has an explanation when the answers are already there. Or everything needs an explanation. Most people have dreams when they were young. Okay, those people get to a stage in life where they say, okay, I am already at this age or this stage in life. I am comfortable, so let me put my whatever aside. You didn't put your dreams aside. it was those who cannot see who you are, but you can see who they are or who you would like them to be, that stole your dreams. How can somebody steal your dreams? Because you gave your energy to a person in a way where they'll never give you such energy back in that way. So if you are not the reflection of the next person, it means that you are the deflection. So reflect. Don't deflect. Well, we want to go back to the reasoning, because the reasoning is about the unrighteous Rastaness. And it has spread on now into the media where Jah Mason have lost his son and the suspect is Fantan Moja. Now I tell the brethren them about Bobo years ago, so them need to denounce all the man them who are wear turban and in the reggae music. I tell them verbally in front of them face, and then I go up on YouTube and tell them to just the same. But maybe because the man them no respect them own self, them not gonna respect them brother will bring a word to them. And at the same time now, the same brethren them who got the word, those brethren was born and raised to not turn away wisdom. And I went as far as telling them that I hear the brethren them out in the street saying that them have to keep our eyes on them Bobo there, because you can't trust them because them they all both. And them involved in all type of different things. So when I reason with Priest Archibald as the first brethren and tell him, I remember when time some man passed through the EABICC and shot out a priest's eye. It was the same Priest Archibald who called I and tell I, say, you're not going to believe this, Joshua, them just killed such and such. And then I turned to him and said to him, say, what exactly happened? Him say, well, some brethren that passed through the yard and them have some guns out, rifles and all. And the priest saw them and run to them and said to them, say, you cannot come through God yard like this. You want to think that this is God yard, but at the same time, it would that be Jezebelish. Because Jah Prince Emmanuel teach every man at the EAGICC that smooth word turn away wrath, and no man or no woman is not supposed to address no one other than my Lord or Empress. So I said to Priest Archibald, now if that brethren had went to those brethren and said, blessed love my Lord, give thanks for life today, how is the item doing? I see that the item is an Atrad and Babylon still have the eyes in mind. Come to God. So I and I can show the item a better way. It would have been a much different outcome, because then you'll be speaking to the heart of the man. But when you're trying to throw gas on the fire that's already blazing, the only thing can happen is you're going to get burned. Now, those brethren that you're trying to tell that they're walking through Holy Land with guns, those brethren are the same brethren who know that you as a man who tell yourself or carry off yourself as a priest or a prophet from the EAGICC. And I is going to say the EAGICC and not the EABICC. Why? Because I am not going to represent black, and Emmanuel never represent black either. And I am telling my people that I have discovered that we are from a nation. And I am going to hold that principle. Why? Because the principle that my people hold is of no principle that none of our ancestors would have held. So the EAGICC is the Ethiopia Africa Gentiles International Congress and Church of Salvation. And that was formed by I and I brother Ja, Prince Emmanuel Charles Edwards, who told everybody that he welcomed soulhead, lockshead, shavehead, and also burnhead. So he didn't care who you were. He was trying to get a nation together. So I advise all the brethren and all the sisters who believe that Ja Prince Emmanuel Charles Edwards came to unite Rastas to see if they can find those documents and see that he said he came here for soulhead, combhead, bearhead, lockshead, and burnhead. So he came for the people who identified as Gentiles, who was the dark-skinned people. Why? Not because of racism, because every time you try to unite, if the doves try to unite away from the hawk right now, the hawk wouldn't even say a word, because the hawks are not foolish. The hawks already know that the dove is going to need to make more doves. So when the Gentiles are uniting away from every other nation, it does not mean that the nations become their enemy. It means that everybody is understanding that creation and preservation is important. So there's no way you can continue to look at yourself as a Gentile man or as a man or woman from any other nation, and you have never had a child that is a child contributing to the preservation of that nation. So my brother Kanye West and my sister Kim Kardashian have not made any contribution to their nations. Those people, two people, have robbed the life of great people who was going to contribute to the preservation and also the existence of their own people. Now, can a man and a woman have children that's from a different nation? Well, I have no problem with what anyone heart desire. But what God desire comes before what your heart desire. So contribute to your nation first. So Kim Kardashian, go off and have a child with a man from your nation. Kanye West, go off and have a child from a woman from your nation. So both of you contributed to the preservation of yourselves. And then you move on to the person that your heart say. Because how can you move from step 1 to 10? And if you move from 1 to 10, you're going to have to come back to that. So now, the Rasta man that put on the rod and pick up the gun, that's like 0 to 60 in 5 seconds, because nobody expected that. That is something that will turn your head. That is like an accountant becoming a police officer. He put on a pen and pick up a gun. That's like a judge becoming a state trooper. He put on a hammer and pick up a gun. And the hammer make more money than the gun. And the accountant make more money with the pen than the gun. So the Rasta man is more spiritually balanced, more respected, more honored without the gun. So why would he pick up the gun and lose his crown? Why would anyone trade everything for nothing? All right. If you check the history of Rasta, Rasta was never a nation, just like Christians. Rasta is a group of people who they infiltrate every nation, because if you look around, you'll see just as Christian, Muslim, Catholic, Mormons, all these groups infiltrate people from different nations, and they create a divide and they create a rule. Now, when you look at the background of all these people, the God that they have is never to bring peace. It is always to bring war. Because if you check from the Muslim, come straight down to even the Christians, the Rasta God is a man with a sword and a gun, and a man who sits behind a big 50 caliber or whatever that gun was. So the Rasta slang in Jamaica when I was growing up as a young man was, my God bust the biggest gun. Now, that should tell the man who suffered mostly by the gun, because I'm pretty sure that the man who identified as the Rasta man at one point was telling himself that he was the black man, because that's where everything come from. So the black man and the Rasta man and the Christian and the Catholic and the Mormon and the Muslim they came out of us, but they rose up against us. All right. Let me address my brother Buju Banton here about an incident that involved 5 people being murdered off Red Hills Road on 100 Lane. All right. Those 5 people was said to be in possession of a sex tape. And I'm not going to believe that Buju Banton is involved in any murders because of a sex tape. Why? Because everybody who had a sex tape became 10 times famous than what they were. And I know that Buju is an entertainer. So, my brother, we would like to hear what you have to say about those 5 people and also their family. Just the same, because I'm pretty sure that their family heard the same thing that Joshua heard. And they would like to know, because there's nothing like losing a family member, especially to an untimely decision from another person. Because that untimely decision creates a moment where it leaves a space that is almost empty for the rest of those people who love that person lives. So my brother Buju Banton, please hurry up, because this explanation will also save your life and your children's life. Why? Because the youths them in the ghettos, their mind are turning against the Rasta man because of the evil that they are seeing him uphold. And when I say they are seeing him, it means this is coming from the children whose father and grandfather died from Rasta suspected and Rasta intended and Rasta affected murders. So Rastas are not giving these people a chance to even love them, because they are forcing them to carry vengeance in their heart from a young age against them, against the man of peace, against the man of love, against the man of prosperity, and against the man of wisdom, knowledge, and overstanding, not even understanding, because the Rasta man say he brung understanding to a higher level, over, and he brung he's no longer in backwardness. Forwardness is the only journey or the only pathway that he knows. All right, so I saw where a brethren was asking Fantan Moja, who sing, "You don't kill great man, you only build great man," put a hit on a man. All right. When I'm telling the brethren them that the brethren them in the ghetto is saying that the Rasta man take away the only hope, because no brethrens in the ghetto that pass through the violence have any faith in Christian. And they saw the Rasta man as their only hope. But the moment when they bring that bomber-clad gun god come, you do not even know what you do, brethren and sistren. And I want to look good, because Rasta sistren there in Jamaica get gunshot, Look good. Because I know of incident and you know of incident. This thing is not a joke anymore. This thing is saying these people are wolfing sheep clothing, so we are going to just kill out them blood clot. No, look what prophecy and history shows. Everyone that come in the name of any God and come false, especially when you're trying to tell the people that you are of the true and living God, especially when you're trying to tell the people that you are of peace and love and righteousness, and then at the other hand, you are showing the same people them that your God bust the biggest gun. When the gunman only destiny, only wish, only prayer is to get away from the gun life. Alright, Spragga Benz as a Rasta man. So him say, Arrows dead out time place and a your name them a calling on the streets. Them say a you did a fuck Arrow's wife. And a you have the red square connection. We can't make a man just go in there go kill Arrows. Me I tell you. And if you never hear me I tell you say that go on. And it happens that you come lose all your firstborn. Police just kill your firstborn in blood just splat out on the street of Jamaica. The asphalt quench it thirst off of your child. And you will see a righteousness, clean hands and pure heart. And when I speak these things, I know say and I brethren and I sister and them out there will just say, well, Joshua sound like him now no come. But oh, if you have compassion for the man when I have no compassion for him own a seed. What is compassion if it now come from the Father himself? What is compassion if it is coming from I and I? Can that mean anything at all? If it's coming from I and I? Because I have compassion for my children them, so I stay out of all the things them where I know can make I and I creators them wrath. So now the same way the brethren and sisters them for move. Check it. Steve Marley lose for him firstborn. Feed him name me that call up in a daddy gun murder. Sister and brethren. If the man them that live clean just like what Brother Peter Todd said and let them works be seen. The man them rather not stand firm so them can't go feed worm. Remember you know? All that I and I prophesying before and I did one I you know until I you know how many different parables you know. Oh I and I supposed to tread in this light. Because if I don't tread in this light, it means that a moment is going to come when I and I is not even going to be seen in the darkness. Junior Reid, you Mundel's son say him not trust the argument there. Where they say you're ducking at the same car and the gunshot fire over your side and him father dead. Him grew up without no father. Him grew up and see how your children them a live and him a wonder how you even give him brother them the same type of life and you and him father was brothers. And at the same time too, them have all speculation but all your own brother or man just kill Grammy so. Come here tell you straight up right now. Argument out the road say, somewhere, somehow, Grammy did trouble one of your baby mother. And your heart deceive you and in gone. Me that's what I tell you still, my brother. Because there's things out the road where I and I got ear and now got ear. Because I and I connection different. I show the eye them this. And a long time I show you this. And if I ever tell you anything when I come to pass, it look like heaven and earth I got crash. It was I who tell the brethren them who have the shop at Bobo Hill, you know. Right at the corner there, so we then rob the brethren them where that come from the Bahamas, you know. It was I who tell them, say, I vision say the shop full of sand to the roof, you know. And it was I who passed the shop and say the shop full of sand to the roof and the two places them side I never have none. Till the man them of a Bobo Hill start call like Obia man. Remember, you know, I and I show them say I vision something them start tell I say I bumbo clout Obia man. And remember, you know, this is the man them who deal with wisdom, knowledge, not even knowledge of bumbleclad for sure you. Or them well wise, you know. Them wise still them bumbleclad foolish. Wisdom, knowledge and understanding them come with. And at the same time, they see a prophet like Garnet still can still plan and conspire and take film life only because they want to advance in reggae music. So, as I have said before, reggae music belongs to Rasta. The one to Nyabingi belong to I and I nation, who is of the Gentiles. No, the Rasta man is an organization just like the Christian, because the Rasta is really the no trim and shave wing. So you have right and left wing. Probably the right wing I would have did say, or the left wing, because I wouldn't say the left wing, because the left wing would have mean say you left Babylon. Simple. So I gotta say the Rasta is the right wing of Babylon, because I'm the only person that you now look upon. And I want the brethren and sisters them to oversay. The Rasta police was introduced in England a couple of years ago, you know, and it wasn't the Locks police. And when Bustamante said kill everyone with locks on sight, he never said kill every Rasta. It means that the Rastas and Bustamante did plan that attack, you know, to eradicate locks out of Jamaica, you know. And then the Rasta who claims that him is Rasta now and the leader of the people come and take the forefront and say, yes, them attack Rasta, but it wasn't Rasta them attack, or the brethren them with them attack and have out a Seaford primary. There is no mention of those brethren as far as where the Coral Garden beating is concerned, because those brethren wasn't Rasta, those brethren was and sisters only have on locks. So them only mention the brethren them who them claim say was Rasta, the brethren them who did run to Rasta as refuge. And then right after Rasta get attacked in our 1963, then them have this man come now who Rasta declare as them savior and them God come in 1963, in 1966, in April, in the month where they call All Fool Day. Because one day them look good enough to see which part them there, you know. Because there's a picture of Edward Seaga and this man sitting down in the House of Parliament only by themselves. Nobody else was there. So what were they talking about, and which reporter or photographer took that picture, and where is that person today? Because we also have to remember that reporters back in the days were dying like gangsters. And that's not a lie. Because Free Eye was a radio announcer and he was killed just like a gangster. Shari Genus is a reporter for, I think, CVM or TVJ. She was killed gangland style, her and her father together, who is a high-ranking police officer. And there was transcript of her calling, her father calling her, telling her that I have something to tell you and I have to meet you now. And as soon as she went to that location, 2 cars pull up, execute them, took some stuff from their cars and left. So the military intelligence unit again. Because guess how it go now? It don't even make no sense I be alive and don't tell people about these things. Why? Because I know that I is just passing through. And passing through mean that the man who see the first death already, him couldn't see the second death. And when I speak to these people, or speak of or against these people, because it's not really against, you know. Whenever there's anyone come to bring them out of the darkness that them so much love, the moment that they see that that person is standing in light, they refuse to stand with that person. Why? Because they think that the dark has more power than the light. Because that's where they get their strength. When in real, if you see light and you are in darkness and you refuse to make that step, it means that you cannot live to the right of your own self. So to even all our leaders out there who can't live to the right of their own self, can you imagine how much damage you have done already among your citizens and your countrymen? Just think, you cannot live to the right of your own self, because if I, Joshua Christ, come out and light something about you right now, the first thing you think is to kill me and remain in darkness. Not to come out and say, oh, Joshua, I thank you. I thank you just to free me. So, I come with the words of freedom, no wisdom, No knowledge, no understanding, no knowledge, nothing. Just the words of freedom. Why? Because I and I want to set everybody free in a mind, body, in a soul, spirit, tradition, decision. Because the one who don't make them own decision is the one that is going to continue living a life of fear. So the children them are born from parents who are shaped in iniquity and born in sin. Because I tell you, enough of no mother and father play up with oil and powder and no grandmother and no grandfather and no husband and no wife. And keep in mind, everything where you hear them, everything when them used to work or behind them, I tell you, say it have to have some type of human particles. No oil having just oil where you think. Everything having something that come from the human body. And if a man think it's a joking, ask the man at the morgue how much fatty oil him get out of the human body if him really want excrete that. Yeah man, a human body have the most oil, brethren. I tell the eye them this. If a man even think twice right now and even mind himself sharp, some of the oil them where you buy from the store go to the human body it come from. So now you wonder now why you want to kill your brother so instantly and why you want to kill your wife and your husband instantly to see them. Because that is where you eat. So your mind can't calculate so your food you are killing but your spirit. No. But you don't know because your body contain your body, your soul, and your spirit. So 3 in 1, 1 in 3. You see it, your body, your soul, your spirit, 3 in 1, 1 in 3. So some man say 3 in 1, 1 in 3, and when them say that, them are talk about God, the Holy Trinity. But the Holy Trinity is the earth, the air, and the water. So no 3 in 1 couldn't do the sound 1 in 3. 3 in 1 and 1 in 3 is the temple, the person where you look upon. Because, alright, that's how God live, A man and a woman can't really get together in their mind and say, well, God living inside of my temple. No, why? Because them a look upon a flesh where them not appreciate. And if you look upon a flesh where you not appreciate, you're not going to appreciate who live in there. Because listen, you drive past one house, hypothetically speaking, and you don't like the house there. You know business of who live in there. If you like the house there, you start to want to inquire who live there. Because that is your natural instinct. Anything where you turn away, don't think that it not turn you where it not turn you away too. Because that's how it going on. The thing reject nothing and that not reject you, Yeah man. Then the spirit of rejection come in, make you did reject that. So when the spirit of rejection come in and then you get rejected or you reject something, it means I just rejection the whole way. So I say Yahweh now again because I have to always talk about these things, It don't really matter. How much I talk about it, why? Ancient Ethiopian have some question and I want some answer for them today. No man no answer yet. But I just show the brethren them say, the firstborn I go gone. Yes, I am. That can't left. Why? Because the prophecy and the history record that for a long time. But the firstborn. So I don't know if Jamaica's son are firstborn, but I know it's Steve Marley's son, Joe Mercer, firstborn. And I don't know if Julian Marley's daughter, Cavell, are firstborn. And I don't know if Luciano, the opera Rasta singer, the ninja, the Shogun opera Rasta singer. Yeah, alright, look upon the brethren them. Them now have no persona, have no ancient man because when you look upon even the brethren named Luciano. If you're a Rasta man, name himself after an opera singer, That's not a normal thing because Rasta man usually name Jah Ra. Well, it wasn't a Rasta. It was a man with the locks. Is when the Rasta man come with some different name like all Highway and all them name. They are Sizzler and Capleton. You know? So it show you say the Rasta man is different from the brethren them who did that wear the locks from long time. It was an infiltration coming upon those brethren. You know, see it. And if Bob Marley and Peter Tosh and those brethren didn't overs that it was an infiltration and this will eventually cost them life, and then these men will eventually take over the trad, and they will become the pioneer of the trad, and then they will be pushed behind, because when they really check it out, you know, the only recognition Bob Marley gets is of the king of reggae, you know, not as a pioneer of the Locks people trad, you know. Check it. It's just an entertainer recognition the greatest prophet on earth get, you know. An entertainer recognition, and then his children now are the ones now who are not even wise enough to even record some of their father's quote in a book and said these are the continuation of the Holy Bible. Because that's what the brethren came with, if you listen cleanly. The brethren came with a continuation of the Holy Bible. But only because them children them can't see him as Christ. Because them resent themselves. So the man resenting his own father through him not see himself as nothing. Well, I show the them Ziggy Marley, Steve Marley, everyone I know. They are them father trad as Christ. Peter Tosh children them. They are them father, Andrew, Steve. Yeah. And Nyambe, I saw it name. I saw the name pronounced. Yeah, something like so. But that girl there. Yeah, and also our niece, Peter Tosh's granddaughter. Blessed love. And we have said something to bless the Honorable Empress named Sensi Love too. Just to see him. Yeah, that Empress is of a good spirit and a good vibes. And we give thanks for such. We give thanks to all those who have the spirit of Queen Esther. Alright. And I reason with Muxi Boy for long as Spanglers, and Muxi Boy tell us say enough body cow off from Bunny Whale land out of Portland. Rastaman, you see the things that we are talking about the name? I have shown you this in a brethren. Why there ain't no changes, I and I brethren and sisters? Why I and I people them have to suffer? Why ain't no changes? It is time now for every nation to come together, every woman and man return unto their own vines and fig tree. Because it is preservation and creation time, everyone. Because there is a plot here on earth to decrease every nation to the amount that those who have those plots in their mind believe. Who are you to think who dies and who be free? Who are you to say how long my life is supposed to live? All of the brethren and the sisters in the ghetto of Jamaica, watch out for that man who call himself a Rasta man. That man is a military intelligence unit agent. Look at the khaki uniform, look at the army clothes that he wears. He works for the government, whether he's a singer A shoemaker, once you see him put that clothes on, that army clothes on, that is a government worker. And notice one thing, those guys don't work because they get a paycheck every month. Marty McPlana, all of them, that's what they were. That's how Bob Marley got killed, Peter Tosh got killed, because there was men beside him who identified themselves as Rastas, and they were military intelligence unit who were trained in Cuba, and they worked for the government. When Glenford Phipps died, there was 4 glass on the table. 3 glass contained liquor and 1 without liquor. And Glenford Phipps, as a man that had his locks on his head at the moment, and he was fighting a Rasta struggle with Bob Marley, who gave him $2 million to write a tell-all book about Rita Marley and Chris Blackwell, and also to film a movie just like Roots, but this time with white people being the slaves for black people. He would never, ever, ever trust anybody but a Rasta man. Now the 4th glass didn't have no liquor, it had water. So there are Rastamans out there that are trained killer. If you check the history of some of them, Marty McPlana, he came from Cuba. Even Rita Marley came from Cuba. I don't know where Miguel Lawn came from, but if you notice, there's a lot of Rastas in Jamaica that come from different islands. Most of them are trained, and they are placed among us. Why? Because they are the least detected. Now they're saying to me, how come you are going to say the Rasta man is involved in human trafficking? Because that's the only man that have a history for wanting children. He have been beaten, killed for children, in prison for children. So that's the only man that I can say carry a vengeance for children. So it's nothing for that man to kidnap a child and sell that child after he done had sex with that child. So what human trafficking is, the man who cannot control himself after he rape a child, he know exactly where to sell that child to, so he don't go to prison. And human trafficking is well organized. Even the baggage handler at the airport is getting paid to turn the other way. Pilots, security, even TSA is getting paid. Homeland Security. That's how serious human trafficking is. Because they don't just, the money just don't come from just the human body, it also comes from body parts. And some of those children and people that you see are being missing all over the world. Those people went to the doctor, and the doctor checked them and see that they had a functional organ that could be used for somebody who was wealthy, because there's a database for organs. Now, if you fit the criteria, same blood, same whatever they need, they figure out a way how to take that life. Whether they kill you in a mass shooting, they kill, because notice most of the shootings and murders in the world, they teach everybody to shoot in the head and kill so they won't destroy the body. And then notice on your driver's license, organ donor. So it means that the government will get a guy off the street who's spraying people's bodies with bullets, and they'll keep a guy on the street who's shooting people in the back of the head longer, because he contributes to what they're doing. So the Rasta man without the kete drum, the Rasta man without the rod, without the funde, without the bass drum, without the shaker, and the Rasta woman too. And without the psalms and the reverence and the Ethiopian Cree, those are the wolf in sheep clothing. So I'm going to tell Jamaica and the world, this time you do not attack the Locks people. This time you attack those who cannot identify themselves as Locks people. And the identification of the Locks nation, who are the Gentiles, we have a kete drum, we have a funde, we have a bass drum, and we have shakers, we have a rod, and we don't entertain nothing for Babylon at our house. Neither do we allow our children to do that? Because Babylon cannot come inside of our house, especially through our children. Why? Because we know that our goddess and our God will take the life of our children, so we don't set them up as bait. Heights up Queen Ital. Yeah, this prophecy is from a sister named Queen Ital, you know, aka Michelle Thompson. And all the Rasta sisters in them worldwide will live the war life. I assure the them say, I true the bisexual man come between the eye them leg. Make the eye them soul and pride died. Now the woman who was meant to be the goddess of our own self and our nation, she's been looked down on so much that even the church resent her as being a human being speaking on the altar. Why is that? Sister, the bisexual virgin is not a virgin who love any woman, you know. That is a virgin who set out to steal soul and kill heart and prove on the man who is not bisexual that he can still fuck his soul. So after the bisexual man come to your sister and the virgin who is of the Most High come to you, and you open your legs and that virgin go to you, that is a man that died between your legs, you know. And how did that man die between your legs? Because the bisexual man kill whatever you have between your legs. Hey, most sisters never have no children no over say the bisexual man kill our seed, you know. The moment he not even fuck you, the moment he touch you, him just dry you up. Right, that's all. That's how powerful it is. Because remember, you know, every man and every woman have a choice. But the Creator never give no one the choice to destroy. Him give them the choice to love. No man, no woman who can find love cannot express that. And no man, no woman who don't know love cannot express that either. Because really love is just a word. And then sex is one joke, one wash, a fresh pair of panty and a fresh pair of underpants and punani and cocky fresh again. That is it. So nobody no do nothing wrong because everybody just release a strain or whatever then they do. Everybody mind at ease. The one that have a headache and them bust a fuck and it fix it. But it may fix the headache, but what it do for your soul. So when I see all the man them who identify themselves as Rasta move, look good if I not be a Jezebel them over them yeah. Look on the even Bob Marley, when you look on Bob Marley, baby mother them, a pure groupie them there. I remember say Bob Marley was a prophet and his son them feel good in themselves and proud today and not even notice that them are the sons and daughters of Jezebel and Delilah. Check that. So that I show you say when the man say listen carefully and you will hear, you have to look carefully to say. We hear Peter to sing some songs saying we never fall in love again. Now must him baby mother them him attack. Children, Delilah and Jezebel picnic. If you straight no betray your father, it means you straight no betray yourself. And I don't tell them man for this one them mother or this one them father. I tell them to say walk off from wickedness anywhere you see it. If you see it in yourself, left out of yourself if wickedness there. Because the thing named simplicity. Simplify the thing. Yeah, don't set up yourself to become fuel to the fire, because the fire is anticipating your bumbuckler flesh before you even born. Because someone not dead before no mother even know no father, you know, because the wickedness were gone. You know, the family from us on great grandfather days. As on 10 generation of judgment to come bumbuckler born, you know. Somehow no. So me I tell you no wicked bumbuckler man who call himself Rasta. One thing me I tell you no, righteousness or blood clot, death. Yo, no go on hold that tune ya. You know, the bumbo class, because I'm showing nothing. You see the man who knows, say, the whole of blood clot who know some little wicked bumbo clot people. I already know, so I don't want nothing good. I don't want no bumbo clot one. So, go and hold that. Rasta man enough go return to the hills. Babylon a go gang on no. Remember Joshua Christ is telling you, you know. Marcus Garvey said false leader head a go roll. Remember it was a Rasta man who betrayed Marcus Garvey, Bagawaya. It was a Rasta man who betrayed Prince Emmanuel, Priest Bob. It was many Rastas who betrayed Bob Marley. Many Rastas who betrayed Peter Tosh. Many Rastas who betrayed Garnet Silk. And Hugh Mundell family believes a Rasta betray Hugh Mundell. One time I hear say Jacob Miller children them I get $500 a year for royalty from Inner Circle. Rasta get on a blood clot self together because me I tell them they say on the judgment swift and sure thick shit. See you later.